Chargers fans, get ready. What's happening in Los Angeles could be the start of a historic season, and we're not just talking about Justin Herbert, Mike McDaniel, or Jim Harbaugh. There's something much bigger being built behind the scenes, and when you put all the pieces together, you'll understand why many believe the Chargers can finally become a real NFL powerhouse. But hold on, because there's an important detail that could define everything: the brutal travel schedule, huge roster changes, new offensive weapons, and a possible explosion from Hampton. And the most impressive thing, even facing one of the most exhausting situations in the NFL in recent years, the Chargers simply kept winning. So stick around until the end, because every piece of information connects directly to the franchise's future, and especially to what could happen to Justin Herbert in 2026. Being a West Coast team in the NFL is never easy. While East Coast teams make shorter trips and experience fewer time zone changes throughout the season, the Chargers practically have to cross the United States several times a year, and in 2026, this will happen again. The team led by Jim Harbaugh will have 4 trips to the East Coast, accumulating thousands of miles and once again facing the challenge of jet lag, that physical strain caused by constant time zone changes. For many franchises, this would be a huge cause for concern, but there's an important detail. These aren't the usual Chargers. These are Jim Harbaugh's Chargers, and anyone who followed last season knows exactly what that means. According to Bill Sparrows of Bookies, the Chargers will travel approximately 24,816 miles in 2026, placing them among the 7 teams that will travel the most in the entire NFL. At first glance, this seems terrible, but when compared to what happened last year, the situation changes completely. In 2025, the Chargers experienced an insane season in terms of travel. The team crossed 42 different time zones, setting an NFL record, in addition to traveling an impressive 37,086 miles throughout the season. Yes, more than 37,000 miles traveled. Much of this was due to their international debut in Brazil and also the 6 games played on the East Coast. And even with all this absurd wear and tear, the Chargers almost swept the AFC West. The team finished the season with 11 wins and 6 losses, secured a playoff spot, and even managed to rest starters at the end of the regular season. Much of the Chargers roster for 2026 is practically defined. Of course, there will still be some changes until September when the regular season begins, but the core of the team is already assembled. And within these changes, there is a name that went almost unnoticed by many in the NFL: David Njoku. Many fans looked at this signing without giving it much importance, but some analysts believe it could end up being one of the smartest moves of the offseason. Alex Kay of Bleacher Report highlighted Njoku as one of the most underrated signings in the entire NFL for 2026, and when you look at the context, that really makes sense. Njoku arrives at the Chargers after complicated seasons with the Cleveland Browns, marked by injuries and a significant drop in production. Last year, he finished the season with only 293 yards and 4 touchdowns on 33 receptions, in addition to losing playing time. These numbers led many to believe that he was no longer the same player, but there's an important detail that many forget. We're talking about an athlete who was in the Pro Bowl just 2 seasons ago. In that season, Njoku was one of Cleveland's main offensive weapons. He amassed 882 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 81 receptions, in addition to catching an impressive 123 passes throughout the year, helping the Browns reach the playoffs. Now he lands in Los Angeles with a 1-year contract that could reach $8 million, clearly showing that the Chargers see potential in this gamble. And looking at it objectively, it was a low-risk, high-return move. Even if Njoku doesn't return to exactly Pro Bowl level, he still offers something extremely valuable to Justin Herbert: a big, strong, athletic, fast, and very efficient target in red zone situations, and the numbers prove it. Njoku scored at least 4 touchdowns in each of the last 5 seasons, demonstrating rare consistency in crucial moments near the end zone. Now imagine Mike McDaniel using Njoku in heavy formations with multiple tight ends, because that's exactly what could happen in 2026. Besides Njoku, the Chargers also have Oronde Godston II, a 5th-round rookie who surprised many in the last season. Last season, he recorded 664 yards and 3 touchdowns on 49 receptions. And then there's Charlie Kolar, known primarily for his blocking ability. This combination of pieces opens up space for something extremely interesting in McDaniel's offensive system: formations with 2 or even 3 tight ends at the same time, the famous 12 and 13 personnel formations. But even with all this expectation surrounding the passing game and the tight ends, there is one player who may be the true heart of the Chargers offense in 2026, and it is precisely here that we arrive at the name that could simply explode this season. If there is a clear candidate to be the Chargers' big breakout star in 2026, that name is Hampton, and the expectation surrounding surrounding him is growing rapidly within the NFL. Selected 22nd overall in the draft, Hampton had a complicated rookie year. A serious ankle injury caused him to miss 8 games, and in addition, the Chargers' inconsistent offense ended up severely limiting his impact even when he was healthy. But now the scenario looks completely different. That's because Mike McDaniel's offensive system is practically perfect for explosive, fast running backs capable of creating big plays in the open field, and Hampton could become exactly that type of player. There's a huge expectation that he'll participate much more in the passing game in 2026, receiving passes, exploiting space, and creating explosive plays, exactly the elements that McDaniel's scheme values most. The numbers help explain why so many people are excited. In the last season that Mike McDaniel led the offense in Miami, running back Devon Achane participated in 75% of the team's offensive plays. Hampton, on the other hand, participated in 63% of the Chargers' plays when he was healthy in 2025. Now imagine that number increasing even more in a system designed precisely to maximize players with his profile. This could completely transform the Los Angeles offense, but there's a significant side effect to Hampton's potential explosion, and it involves a player who was extremely important to the Chargers last season, Kimani Vidal. Few people talk about it, but Vidal ended up becoming one of the team's most inspiring players in 2020. When Hampton was injured, Vidal took on the responsibility in the backfield, and he responded very well. During the 8 games Hampton missed, Vidal accumulated 569 yards and 3 touchdowns, becoming one of the few bright spots in a season full of offensive difficulties. But now the scenario has completely changed. With Hampton healthy and Mike McDaniel taking command of the offense, Vidal could end up losing a lot of playing time in the rotation, and not just because of Hampton. The Chargers also added Keaton Mitchell, an extremely explosive running back perfect for outside runs, exactly the type of play McDaniel loves to use in his offensive schemes. When we put all these pieces together, an extremely dangerous picture begins to emerge for the rest of the NFL. The Chargers survived the league's most grueling schedule, will now face less physical strain, have reinforced their offense, brought in Mike McDaniel, added new weapons for Justin Herbert, and may even be about to unleash Omarion Hampton's full potential. All this under the leadership of Jim Harbaugh. The Chargers seem to be entering one of the most important seasons in recent years. With Jim Harbaugh at the helm and Mike McDaniel reshaping the offense, expectations in Los Angeles are enormous. So fans, do you think this team can finally contend for the top of the AFC? Leave your opinion in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell to follow all the Chargers news.